they're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Yes, folks, we continue to welcome and to thank each and every one of you, those connecting with us right here in Tobago, Trinidad, crossing our sister isle, the region, and the world at large. Thank you so much for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. As we get started this morning, and as we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet. And yes, have no fear, Ria will be joining with us shortly. But just before that, we head straight on over to news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Thank you, Julian. I am Bianna Brebner, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, 25th July, 2023. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine said he's not bothered by the Prime Minister's threat of a lawsuit against him and the Assembly legislature. This comes after Augustine revealed an alleged plot to undermine his administration, implicating the Prime Minister, the Commissioner of Police, and other high-ranking officials. Speaking to Tobago Updates, he reaffirmed his stance on the claim made in the House and emphasized the validity of the standing orders used to present the statement. Augustine highlighted the pressing need for the police to conduct their own investigation into the matter with the same level of dedication currently seen in the infamous audio clip investigation. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar labeled the investigation into the infamous audio clip as a Trojan horse. Speaking on the UNC Monday Night Forum last night, she said it was suspicious that devices were seized from the Assembly and the THA workers while warrants were vague. According to Persad-Bissessar, the TTPS was using the audio clip scandal as an excuse to gain information on an audit being conducted on the THA. The audit implicates the Alan Warner family, who are close friends of the Prime Minister. Finally, former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner has united with the UNC. He appeared on the UNC's Monday Night Forum, saying he heeded the call to fight against the PNM. Warner was once a chairman of the UNC of the Minister of Works and Transportation and the National Security under Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Following disagreements, the two parted ways and Warner formed the Independent Liberal Party. However, with the new union, Warner wants to disband the ILP and strengthen the unity with the UNC. He said they have settled their differences and now focus on getting rid of the PNM. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds.
Tobago, after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation, plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Yes, folks, and Ria is here with us. I saw all that energy on the jetty yesterday, Ria.
Missed you yesterday.
Yes. How was that early morning in Charlottesville?
It was beautiful. I mean, none can compare. You missed the sunrise, you missed the sea breeze, you missed the festivities on the streets. Persons were out already, Julian. By the time the show started, persons were already out. Some persons were already having their early morning sea baths, Julian. You missed it.
Yeah, and I realized that because by the time I actually got up to Charlottesville, you know the impact when it is you are walking on the streets and person said, I saw Ria early this morning, but I realized it didn't reach up early this morning, but good to have you in the mix. And we really want to thank those persons out there in Charlottesville for that love and support. Really good, very good. In fact, excellent display there. President Karen of the new association, Karen Eastman, and the entire team. In fact, the secretary, Takesha, as well, that we interviewed, I saw her probably in almost every dance and every display. Really good energy and sending an excellent signal in terms of young people becoming a part of that process, which is only in keeping with the natural energy of Auntie Annette Alfred. and others in
right.
Charlottesville, you're really seeing that level of togetherness. Kudos and commendations indeed.
As well, Julian, she's looking to hand over. So she kept saying, I was hoping to get a younger person to do this interview. Ollie tired with me. I needed somebody. But, she still has a lot to offer in terms of the information and all of the education on Charlottesville. Because this is where her roots are, so she still has a lot to offer in terms of what Charlottesville has to offer.
Yes, most certainly. And we see some footage here. And this would have been at the river itself. And I think I just spot there in the mix also Ryan Moore. We had the trek here from Campbellton. Right.
This is where they're getting ready to dance to Coco, is it?
Yes. It appears that way, I should say.
Were you there? Were you
Not
there
for
for
this
this?
part,
Not for this part. Okay.
Yes, the dancing of the Coco. And I think this is one of the areas people look forward to. We see our Miss Heritage personality
In the mix there.
Melinda Alfred.
If she'd never done this before, she can safely say that she's done it.
And I know that at yesterday's activity, you have also seen the presence for the opening and within the day of the Honorable Chief Secretary, Farley Chavez Augustine.
Yes.
I saw a number of the other secretaries in the mix. Assistant Secretary Megan Morrison would have also been there in the mix. We saw Assistant Secretary Wayne Clark, Assistant Secretary Niall George also in the mix yesterday, making that connection. Secretary Trevor James. We also see on screen Secretary Natisha Charles Pantin, Deputy Chief Secretary Dr. Faith V. Israel. So certainly an excellent showing and turnout for the Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day. I think it is safe to say that almost every organization was represented. I saw bankers, I saw public officers,
we saw tea and
clearly it was a work day in Charlottesville yesterday, really coming out to lend that kind of support. Charlottesville is almost becoming, if it isn't already, that kind of Easter Tuesday in Tobago. And if you're from Tobago, you've ever lived in Tobago, you will understand what that means. It's becoming that kind of, that kind of recognition that is given to Easter Tuesday in Tobago. I want to put a plug out there. We need to give that kind of recognition to Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day to really allow us to enjoy the island.
Even during the live yesterday morning, persons were asking, why is this held on a work day? Why is it a Monday? Some persons seemed a little upset. And I was following the live a little bit, and persons were saying, but Carnival Monday and Tuesday are work days as well, but we put measures in place to ensure that persons are able to enjoy. So maybe you need to do the same.
So we're calling for those measures to be put in place.
That's right. But as well, I want to send commendation this morning to 4 members of TNTech. And I have to say thank you. TNTech came to our rescue yesterday morning. And that would be Diana Brebner, our very own Diana Brebner, who's here with us. Mr. Floyd George, Alana James. Yes, she's prompting, yes, Alana James and Deirdre Jack. Now, they assisted us yesterday morning with a location to have our makeup done. They were very gracious. Of course, Alana gave me a little old talk. Floyd gave me some old talk, but they were very accommodating. Deirdre, thank you so much. Alana, thank you. Floyd and Biana, we invaded their space. And if they did mind, they didn't show it. So we say thank you. It was on the spot. It was a spur of the moment thing, but they were really accommodating.
I'm sure they were happy to see that pre-show lineup there. The things you just don't see on camera at all. All right, viewers, we're heading straight on into our birthday shout-out segment, sponsored by KFC.
This is your birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
And we start things off this morning celebrating Kezia Frederick. Happy birthday going out to you. And I trust you sang your way into the birthday. That's what you're very good at. One of the things you're very good at. So happy birthday going out to you and love from all of us here at Tobago Updates.
A birthday shout out going out to Anya Nero. That's Anya Nero on screen. Wishing you a happy birthday and continued blessings coming from the entire Tobago Updates family.
And that's Auntie Karen Hector, my sister and friend, celebrating her birthday today. Auntie Karen, love going out to you and trust that you have a really great one. I know it might be a little tough, but you're going to make it through.
On screen, we have Sheila Hercules, and we're wishing you a happy birthday coming from the entire Tobago Updates family.
And this is happy birthday to Sherry and George from your cousin Anton and the rest of your family here in Tobago. And of course, from all of us here at Tobago Updates.
This is a belated birthday greeting going out, and to Kwesi Devines, wishing you a happy birthday. My brother out there, I got that gentle reminder. Thank you, JCI. All right, certainly Kwesi is also a part of JCI and one of our former secretaries in the Tobago House of Assembly. Wishing you a belated birthday greeting, Kwesi Devines. And if I know him any at all, he's still in celebration mode. Enjoy, my brother. Happy birthday going out to you. And on screen, yes, my family connection, Stephen Lovell, wishing you a belated birthday greeting. Want to wish you the very best and God's continued blessings, my brother. And we trust that you continue to enjoy the birthday celebrations. We have on screen Akila Kaiser, another one of my very good friends out there, and wishing you a belated birthday greeting. Akila, well, I know that she is most certainly enjoying the birthday celebration, and we trust that God will indeed continue to bless you and the entire family. Enjoy.
And we celebrate this morning Murnell Pilgrim. Happy birthday going out to you, Murnell, and we trust that you had a great one, or that you will be having a great one. I'm not sure, is there a birthday party in place? Does daddy, mommy, I don't know. But remember, we eat cake, so have a great one.
Plenty things happen. Happy birthday, Murnell. All right, and a birthday shout out going out to Jason David. And I must say, Ria, the life of the party, if you're anywhere on the outside, you're at restaurants, you're at events. Yep,
that's your guy.
This is indeed, I don't know, he finds his way around to most social spaces in Tobago and would even give you reviews as well. All right, so this is a shout out to Jason David, wishing you a happy birthday and God's continued blessings.
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
Welcome back, viewers, to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Moreland, Scarborough, Tobago. And, we want to take this opportunity to really send out kudos and commendations. We started with Charlottesville yesterday, but certainly it was a filled, packed weekend. We had the opening of the Heritage Festival that took place on the Friday, followed by the Juve celebrations in Plymouth. For some, a very lengthy day down on that end, certainly a time out to be enjoyed. We even saw in the mix, Assistant Secretary Sertica there being photographer, videographer, etc. And I forgot I also glimpsed her in the mix of the festivities and the activities yesterday as well up at Charlottesville. And then you would have gone on to the Fisherman festivities that took place there, Plymouth Fisherman Festival. Certainly again, kudos and commendations to the team. And that went straight into Capture the Flag. Capture the Flag. Major culmination out there. And I must take the opportunity to send out congratulations to Scarborough Secondary alumni once again capturing the flag. I was particularly on hand in terms of taking in that last match. And I wanted to take the time out to extend commendations as well to Goodwood. Goodwood High Secondary. Certainly commendations in terms of what we would have seen as an excellent display out there. In fact, it went right down to penalties in terms of making that determination. But very good effort on the part of Goodwood. Really an excellent showing for anyone who got the opportunity to take in that final match. But kudos indeed, Scarborough Strike has once again captured the flag.
And to my good friend out there, Joel Johnson, tough luck, better luck next time. He was really hoping that Scarborough Sec did not win for whatever reason. I know his heart bleeds Manta, but unfortunately, Joel, it was Scarborough Sec yet again.
All right, viewers. Rhea, who do we have on the rundown this morning?
All right, so we're going to start things off this morning chatting with Pastor Clive Dutton, a pastor attached to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And this morning, he is going to be speaking on the issue of the Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister. A lot has been happening, and allegations are being made, and names are being called, and you know, in relation to what's been happening with the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary, he's going to be speaking on this issue.
All right. This morning, we'll also hear from Delia Jerry, Director on the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited. And we'll also be chatting with Newton George, a Tobago tour guide and tour operator. This morning, we're speaking about the Global Bird Fair and Sales Mission. So we look forward to those updates on behalf of TTAP.
And this one, Julian, is going to get your attention because we'll be chatting with Jason Arthur, President of the Bishopians Alumni Association of Tobago, and it's all about BHS Homecoming 2023. Now, with Julian with you, I'm not sure if you're Scarborough Sec or if you're Bishops, but you see, you're celebrating Scarborough Sec's win for Capture the Flag, and then switch over to...
Well, it's not a switch, it's the realities of life. My foundation for high school started at Scarborough Secondary School, and I'm always thankful for that. And then I would have gone on to Bishop's High for A-level. So certainly I have no challenges at all as we support the initiatives and activities. I like to say I have the blessing of being able to, having had the understanding and appreciation of both institutions. All right. So kudos indeed, and we look forward to those upcoming discussions this morning. Before I get into any trouble, let me make sure in terms of highlighting each and every one of you out there I see on the live with us this morning. Auntie Annette, Alfred, good morning to you. We continue to thank you so much for your contributions and working with our young people to ensure that transition takes place. I see we have Julia Mix in the mix, Julia Brown in the mix, Suzette James, Selma Lashley, Nigel, Joe Field, Lisa James, each and every one of you out there. We want to say good morning. And thank you for choosing the Tobago Updates morning show. All right, viewers, at this point, we prepare to head into our first segment this morning, Rhea.
That's right.
All right. So, viewers, we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live as we head on over to Tobago in Focus.
For those who have plans to pursue tertiary education or are already enrolled, there is a Department of Advanced Training that aids with grants and bursaries. This department exists within the Division of Education, Research and Technology.
We provide financial assistance to persons who decide to pursue tertiary education or who are pursuing tertiary education. We also provide persons and advisory service to persons who require that type of advice, both financial as well as career guidance. And we try to also provide persons with placement. For those persons who would have actually received funding from us, we try to place them in facilitate their placement in jobs.
To access these services, one must apply to an institution of study, and the institution must be accredited. In order to be facilitated, the program being pursued must also be accredited.
The idea is that we want to see that the person, whoever the person is and whatever the person, what the institution is, the important thing is that the institution is accredited and the program is accredited. But much more than that, that the person is also pursuing something that would be of benefit to Tobago and in Trinidad and Tobago for that matter.
The assistance being offered by the department has a wide range. Assistance can be anywhere from tuition expenses to living expenses. It can also include meals, transportation, books, and so forth. An applicant needs to state what they require and what the expenses are that need to be covered. The application will then be vetted and it will be determined what assistance you will receive. You can connect with the department via the THA website, tha.dert.gov.tt, or through the division's head office at 299-0781.
Come one, come all. It's time to join in the Tobago Heritage Festival 2023. Homage. All are we and all are who we be.
Tobago.
Indulge in the awesomeness that is embodied in the spirit of Tobago at the 36th Tobago Heritage Festival. Celebrate a rich, vibrant, hypnotic showcase of our cultural legacy. Yes, from July 21st to August 1st, 2023. Take the island tour. Sample the sumptuous variety of local indigenous delicacies. Enjoy the recreation of old-time village life. Dance to the drum. Feel the rhythm of steel pan. Experience the way of life, languages, and oral traditions. Be part of the journey to our we heritage, honoring our past, celebrating our present, and inspiring our future. Relive our unique culture. Join in the preservation of the heritage of we island of Tobago.
Are you flood ready? Review and update insurance coverage. Install floodgates and barriers. Create a family flood plan. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
Inner Health, number 13B Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Portmore in Scarborough, Tobago. We're just at about 7:22 a.m. this morning. And in this segment, we get started. And you know, you get started when you're chatting with family and friends. The connection is so much easier. We welcome on set Delia Jerry, Director of the Board of Directors for the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, and Newton George, Tobago Tour Guide and Tour Operator. Good morning to you all and welcome.
Good morning, Julian. Good morning to the viewing public.
And good morning, Julian, as well. And good morning, Delia.
Yes.
And good morning to the viewing public and the local, regional, and international as well.
Right. And folks, we must indicate here, avid supporters from day one of the Tobago Updates morning show, really encouraging from every possible angle. This morning, however, we're speaking about the Global Bird Fair and Sales Mission. And we want to get started this morning by just enlightening persons or reminding some of our viewers, what is the Global Bird Fair and the Sales Mission about?
Well, the Global Bird Fair is an annual event that takes place in the UK, and it just brings together avid bird enthusiasts, bird watchers. It brings together different countries who are there to market their island as a bird watching place. It also brings together tour operators and just different providers of birding services.
All right. So, Mr. George, I want you to tell us a little bit, you know, this for you is not just an activity or an initiative. This is a way of life. Tell us a little bit about that connection between the happenings here in Tobago and the gains to be derived having participated.
Well, let me just interject with what Delia said before. It is very important that Tobago plays a very important role at that fair. Because if we lose our slot on that fair, we might not get it back because there are a lot of countries on the waiting list. And If we lose it, trust me, it's difficult to get back in. You know, so it's very important that Tobago plays a very important role in that. And just to name a few countries that go to the fair, you get countries as far as Papua New Guinea, you know, Nepal, the Ecoslovenia, and these are very, very far countries, way countries. And so Tobago playing a role in that fair, it's very, very important.
Tell us a little bit about the activities that take place at this fair.
Right. So when you go to the fair, there are a lot of what you call marquees, like booths. And then you have people coming to the booth, so we selling our Tobago, really. And then you have lectures that people do as well. So it's like a fair, you do lectures, and a fair you do sell Tobago. And there are a lot of people that will come to Tobago that wants to come to Tobago. So that's what we do. We sell Tobago generally.
And I just want to add at this point in time, because one of the strategies that we've been using at the Tobago Tourism Agency is the use of influencers. And we hosted recently a birding influencer. His name is David Lindo. He's known as the Urban Birder. And he did a presentation at the bird fair on the birds of Tobago. That presentation, it was packed. And thereafter, our booth was swarmed with people who wanted to know more about Tobago, wanted to know how they could get to Tobago, wanted to know, well, let's put Tobago on our list. So it's really a tremendous experience, that bird fair.
From where you sit as well, I want to just get a little bit from you. How do we get to the point, ideally, where persons become more informed and aware from young? You know, birds could be something. Think of our children, and so you like it, you see it, it's beautiful, but it could be taken for granted as to how significant this is in our Tobago space. Just give us a gentle reminder.
Right. So before I get there, let me just tell you of some of the companies that deals with Tobago. You have Heatherly from Scotland, Speyside Wildlife from Scotland as well. Then you have Nature Check, Bird Finders, Wild Wings. So all these companies plays a part in Tobago as well. They really want to come to Tobago. So when you get out there, these are the people you contact to get to Tobago as well.
Excellent. So there's an opportunity to make that connection in the Tobago space. Where do you see it going here to ensure that there's a greater level of appreciation? You know, we always make the point that the promotion of tourism and really pushing our tourism product is not something exclusively up to tour guides. It's not exclusively up to the tourism division or the tourism agency, but really it's that kind of collective efforts. Any thoughts you want to share on that?
Yeah, well, Tobago is such an important birding destination, really, because let me just give a rundown on the months and the migrant species we have as well. In the month of February, you get South American birds coming up. At the March, you get black skimmers on Tobago as well. If you go right now at the Tobago plantation, the golf course, there are scores of black skimmers down there. So these are birds that people really want to see. And in July, August, you get flycatchers, waders coming from South America, the flycatchers, the waders coming from North America. In mid-October, you get red-billed tropic birds coming for nesting. And those are the migrant species. And if you want to talk about the local species, we have approximately 20-something species of birds on Tobago that are not accessible on Trinidad. And this is what makes Tobago a unique birding destination, really.
All right. Delia, I want you to tell us a little bit, these overseas missions and its significance to really making that connection with Tobago as the premier, global, that place to visit in terms of bird watching, but also connecting it as the holiday option for those who may be visiting to enjoy the island.
Absolutely. So, Julian, one of the things that struck me even at the bird fair is that, yes, people came and they wanted to know about Tobago as a birding destination. But there are some people who also wanted to know other things about Tobago. They wanted to know what else could they do. For example, there was a family that came and the daughter said to me, yes, my dad loves bird watching and I would love to come to a holiday on Tobago, but what am I going to do? And so we're able to say to them, we're able to tell them how much Tobago has to offer in terms of the other activities that we offer.
We look at our diving, snorkeling. Yes, we have the sun, sea, and sand, so you can stay and enjoy the beach. But we have so much more in terms of soft activities, soft adventure activities that they can do and enjoy the sheer beauty of the island. And we also are promoting at this point in time our unique cultural heritage. So there's also the harvest festivals. There's also the Buku goat race and crab racing. There's so much of Tobago that we can show and we can tell people about. And that was my experience at the bird fair, because yes, while you had those bird enthusiasts, you had people wanting to do other things as well. And we were able to sell them on that.
Tell us a little bit about where this passion would have been developed for you.
Well, Julian, that's a good question. I got into birding with my dad at the age of 10, because my father used to be the resident warden on Little Tobago. And he was a bird watcher as well. He was a guide. And as a matter of fact, he was the only guide on Little Tobago. So when people go to the island, they will stay at the building and he will take them around. And as a kid, I assisted him in doing such. I remember one time, you know, we had the bird of paradise on Little Tobago once. Right. One time I went out to assist him in putting out water for the birds. And eventually he came looking for me, thinking something went wrong with me. But I was just gripped with the birds, the mating display. I just couldn't leave. So there's where my passion really started. And then, you know, working for the forestry department, you know, I just continue because it's something compatible to what I do. And I just continue. And then the rest is history, Julian.
What would you say would have been a standout of your appearance this year as Tobago versus over the years?
Right. So, Julian, I am well known at the fair. I am well known at the fair. A lot of people come to see me. And as a matter of fact, there are some companies that really want to do business with Tobago again because, you know, we went down during the COVID.
Correct.
So we are now getting back. And people really want to come to Tobago. They really want to come. So what was outstanding for me this year is the amount of companies that really want to come back to Tobago as well.
All right. And I know this is something people may take for granted in terms of the significance here. Tell us a little bit, where in Tobago can persons enjoy? For those who live here and probably watching this interview and saying, well, you know, I never even went bird watching myself, right here. Yeah. Speak to our locals in terms of, you know, where are there opportunities to be able to enjoy bird watching in Tobago?
Right. There are three major birding sites on Tobago. Little Tobago for seabirds, the rainforest for forest species, and then you get the wetlands down at the center of the island. But the rainforest is a unique place because we have as I said before, we have approximately 20-something birds on Tobago that are not accessible on Trinidad, but they're accessible in South America. So people will really want to go to the rainforest and to see the blueback manakins, which is, I think, is the most sought-after bird on Tobago. To see that bird does its display, it's out of the soul. It will stay in your mind forever. So people will want to go mainly to the rainforest. And again, for the temperature up there is different to this low-lying area. It's really cool and nice up there, you know, really cool and nice. So people will want to go to the rainforest. Little Tobago, as Delia said, you can go there and then you can do snorkeling and reef tours and stuff like that, you know. But I will say the rainforest stands out as the most unique place for bird watching on Tobago.
Excellent. Delia, remind us when this mission took place this year and what can we look forward to in terms of TTAL and its continued support initiatives of this kind as we seek to build our tourism product here in Tobago?
Well, this year, the bird fair took place from the 14th to the 16th of July. It was in Rutland Grounds in the UK. And we had the opportunity there to not only interact with visitors, not only to interact with potential visitors to Tobago, but also, as Newton alluded to, tour companies, tour guides and stuff like that, that could put Tobago on the map. So as we seek to reposition Tobago, because as we all know, COVID happened and we need to reposition Tobago. We need to have people know that we are here and we are ready to welcome our visitors. We are employing various strategies to ensure that Tobago is at the top of the list in terms of people's choices, because there are a lot of choices out there. And we have to ensure that we make Tobago as the top the top destination that people will want to visit. And so we are working with influencers, we are working with our partners in the UK, in Europe, and even in North America to ensure that Tobago is on the map.
All right. I see one of our viewers saying online, I need to educate myself more on the birds we have on the island to add in my pitch when I am selling the island. Any considerations probably to look at some follow-up sessions? You know, we're now using the virtual platform far and wide. Even some of those persons out there living abroad that speak and sell Tobago, some things persons can log in to learn a thing or two. Nice short session. Any considerations?
Well, this will be done by Tita. They're the ones to really, you know.
And of course, it's something that we would take into consideration. I just also want to say that Tita, even this year at the bird fair, we took another young bird watcher. His name is Zolani Frank, and he was able to do a presentation to the crowds at the bird fair, and that went over well. And so we want to continue to expose and educate our entrepreneurs in terms of what is out there and what are the possibilities. I too, I must say, was guilty in terms of always knowing that Tobago is a bird watcher's paradise, but never really being involved in it. And I think this really whet my appetite because birders, people are passionate about birding. It's one of the most amazing experiences I had to see how passionate these people are about birding, and sometimes we take for granted what we have right here. So we have the beautiful birds here and we don't even know about it, but people are really, really passionate about
If
birding.
I could add to that is that actually every bird that comes to Tobago always want to come back. You might believe, but there are returnees who has come 6 times. I have a couple coming in December. That will be the 7th trip to Tobago. And they really want to see one specific bird they have not seen in all the 5 trips they have done before. It's a bird you call the great-throated leaf tosser. They really want to see that bird. And it's the 7th time they're coming back to Tobago.
I feel like the next time we're doing an interview with you, we need to have these pictures. So as you call those names, we're able to get that display.
Well, I just bought a gift for you.
Yes.
I just bought a CD.
Excellent. So it gives us that pictorial view.
Yes.
We just out of time for this interview, but I'll allow you in terms of closing comments. Let's start with you, John.
Well, I will really like to see we push this thing that we can get more visitors coming to Tobago because it's really a beautiful place. And you know, the ardent birder or the birding enthusiasts want to come to Tobago. They definitely want to come to Tobago, but sometimes flights are not available. And you know, we are really missing out of another market, you know, the Canadian market. I was there last month, and that's a huge market, Julian. And I normally go to that fair as well, you know.
Certainly. Delia, he has touched on a whole other topic. They're talking about air transportation, but we don't have enough time in this interview. But your closing comments this morning.
Well, I just want to assure the people of Tobago that the board and the staff of TTAL continue to work assiduously to ensure that Tobago is the first choice of a destination. And we are working hard, and we invite you to come on board and work with us as we position Tobago as it really should be.
All right. Thank you very much there, Delia Jerry, joining us on set this morning, a director for the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited and a tour operator, a tour guide. Certainly you know him in the industry, Newton George. Thank you so much for joining us on set and indeed continuing to be part of the delegations, really representing Tobago out there. Folks, we've got to take it from every possible angle, but let us not forget, after we have put in all this effort and our visitors come here, we have got to be as warm and welcoming in terms of that same kind of joy and love that we put out here as Tobago, so as to continue to encourage visitors not to come once, twice, but to keep coming back every time. So we want to thank you very much again for joining us on set here this morning. And this is the opportunity where I ask them to join in with us. As we indicate, we're heading on out to a break, but we tell them to
share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tapicom. Welcome to the future. The only card you will need in a new world. Digital business cards. Safe, hassle-free. The future is here. Tapicom. new generation digital transfer. Digital time clock cards, digital attendance cards, air tags, customized designs, digital clothing tags, digital pet tags. Tapicom. The future is here. Contact us today.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Stobie Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Are you flood ready? Recycle and properly dispose of large waste. Avoid sweeping yard clippings or trash into drains. Plant trees to avoid soil erosion. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supply specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. As we head on into our next segment this morning, we will be chatting with Pastor Clive Dottin, and he should be joining us on the line now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm in Brooklyn.
So as we get the conversation started this morning, we're diving right on in. We currently have what is being described as that, unusual conversation. Some would say it's not going as it should go. Some would say fighting the good fight. How would you describe what you have observed based on the interaction between the Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister in recent times on these very topical issues?
Well, let me say good morning. I'm in Brooklyn, and thanks to Anton Parks for getting me on. We had some difficulties earlier on, so I am very happy to be on. I am not happy with what is taking place, particularly in Tobago and the dialogue between the Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister. And of course, I created a storm, apparently, on Facebook when I talked about the gladiatorial skills of the Chief Secretary and planting a dagger in the heart of hypocrisy. Because in the first place, I never even knew there was a white-collar crime unit. I knew about the Professional Standards Bureau, I knew about the Police Complaints Authority, and there are other groups. But I never knew about this white-collar unit. But it is not the best thing that is happening. However, I maintain there are people who know about all the rules of the House. I am studying what Mrs. Dr. Angus Soyafat has said. I have to examine that in greater detail. But I am saying that, for example, if there's a white-collar unit, the reason we have so much crime, particularly in Trinidad, is because of the godfathers of the drug trade, the high level of corruption that is being acknowledged by all parties, I believe. And therefore, I am suggesting that a lot of effort could be put in Trinidad to end the mega level of corruption. Perhaps makes us one of the most corrupt nations in the Western Hemisphere. And I'm suggesting that they have a lot of work to do there. Now, when I heard about the police descending upon the home of Farley Augustine and other individuals, just yesterday I heard of another situation by a beach where 4 police jeeps, descending on another member, I understand, or functionary of the Tobago House of Assembly. Now, it looks to me that the real issue here, all right, the politics of it all, I see an attempt to demonize the Chief Secretary. This is a young man, and I want to repeat that. This is a young man who has come into the political space at a very challenging time. And I mean, if you have evidence to lock him up and he has done something, terrible and wrong, he has been unethical, therefore deal with it as you'll deal with anybody else in Trinidad. And I repeat that, as anybody else in Trinidad. But to my mind, some people are painting him as a common criminal, and I object to that. That's number one. On the issue of the audio tape and the propaganda, he has come out, he explained himself. We may agree, we may not disagree. But a lot of people have the impression. I have a person, an expert in security, and he has been advising me, and he tells me the real target of the last police assault on Farley Augustine's home had to be not just the audio tape, but the videotape that was released the next day. Because I saw where Farley had a town meeting and mentioned, by tomorrow, you will have, all the details and we'll settle it once and for all. So I am saying, if there's objection to what Farley Augustine presented in the House with the whistleblower, and perhaps I should mention here that whistleblower must need some protection. Now, the government has responded by saying this guy has been a witness, to another crime scene or what have you, another criminal activities of apparently a state witness. But I am saying that clearly what we have here, to my mind, is a classic attempt to destroy the Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary. That is what I see. That is my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm seeing an attempt to demonize him, to characterize him in a certain way, that is not very fair to him. And we have to watch that, especially those of us who are in Trinidad. We seem to think that if you destroy Fali Augustine, therefore you destroy corruption in both Trinidad and Tobago. That's a false narrative. It will take decades, to deal with that issue of corruption in Trinidad and Tobago. And I don't think it is getting better. I think it is getting worse.
Okay, Pastor Lawton, always a pleasure chatting with you. There's some who may say that this is your stance based on the fact that you are an Adventist minister and that the Chief Secretary has also professed his Christianity, this particular persuasion being an Adventist. Is it because you're both Adventists that this is the root, or this is your belief, this is your stance?
Listen, I am not a neophyte in Trinidad and Tobago. I have taken very, unpopular decisions in the past. Doesn't matter whether he's an Adventist or not. And I want to say that quite frankly, whether I know him or not. We hardly talk on the phone. We hardly have, I know some people in Tobago who have been speaking to me, but I can't say I have an ultra close relationship with Fali Augustine at all. To my mind, the fact that he's a Seventh-day Adventist is not the issue whatsoever. What I see here is a youth. Let me tell you something. When I think Fali's in his 40s, I could be wrong, you can correct me. When I saw him getting into the political space, I trembled because I understand, how daggers could be pointed at you, as a youth, and people could think we could do him what we want, we could frustrate him at every level. We can withhold funds, etc., etc. I have been following this situation from the days of A.N.R. Robinson. I was in the House when, the term ambassador extraordinary was used by A.N.R. Robinson in the days of Winston Murray and Robinson sitting in the House when they controlled both seats, Robinson Tobago East and Winston Murray in Tobago West. So I have not just come upon the scene, and I am saying, here's a young man who has made a mistake. All right, he has admitted to it, and I am saying I don't see the need, all right, to treat him as a common criminal. I have a real problem with that. And what he has revealed, whether we like it or not, whether it should be in the House or not, all right, is very interesting stuff. And I am saying what we need to have is a commission of inquiry, all right, comprised of very honest people. We still have honest people, and we still have people at a level in integrity, all right, that should investigate those charges. I mean, the papers in Trinidad, the Express and the Guardian, have described it as a bombshell. And I posted, that, he's an extraordinary gladiator because even attempt to defend himself against the might of the titans in Trinidad, all right, is a very, very significant step that he has taken. Whether or not he should have released those videotapes, I leave that to the political scientists to discuss and the constitutional experts. But when I listened, it was sent to me, all right, while he was doing it. And when I listened to it, I was shocked, all right. And I am saying what he has revealed requires a comprehensive, consistent, and honest analysis that can only be done by a commission of inquiry.
So I want us to dive into that a little bit more. The Prime Minister's response is that he will be seeking all legal opinions to investigate whether or not, under the circumstances, that the Chief Secretary would have abused, in terms of that privilege or the cover that comes with the House of Assembly in terms of what was presented. And I want to tie in very clearly, you spoke to in your last line in that post, this youth knows how to plant a dagger in the heart of hypocrisy. Let me get your perspectives as we dive in. I want to understand better what was meant by that.
Well, I will tell you, I have posted before this issue with Fali, Fali, Fali. The Prime Minister says everybody talking the opposition talking about Faris. Well, I'm saying he's only talking about Fali, the two Fs. I have said, all right, on various platforms that what we have in Trinidad, all right, is that we have slick and sick corruption. One group practices slick corruption. They know how to use, invisible channels, so to speak, so they wouldn't be caught and charged. That's slick corruption. And the other is corruption in your face. So I have said it, the two major parts. I have said that over and over again. It is well known that institutions have been permeated, including our security institutions, by the issue of corruption. Now, I want to tell you this. Talking about the police, all right, and the political directorate and institutions that are supposed to be independent, all right, I think the Prime Minister's response has been basically cosmetic. What I want us to deal with is the substance in the videotapes. All right, I want us to deal with that. The other thing I wanted to deal with is the possibility. All right, now I know Commissioner Christopher and the Prime Minister, and they have denied. All right, he has denied having an influence, a direct influence over the police and controlling them. But I want to say we have to be sure of that. All right, we have to be very sure of that in this country. What we never want to have is the political directorate influencing, all right, the police service and facilitating, all right, opponents of the ruling party, all right, getting a bly with the police service to go after an opponent, an rival. I want to say something else. Folks, I repeat, I'm no neophyte in this space. When I served on the Police Service Commission in 2006 and 2009, all right, there was a member of the Police Service Commission. We were in the process of selecting a police commissioner. And what happened is that a member of the Police Service Commission is no longer in the Police Service Commission, all right, indicated to us that the Prime Minister would like us to go in a certain direction. All right, he was actually using a source, a friend who was on the Police Service Commission, to indicate to us what his choice of commission would be, and that if there were any problems, because the candidate that was being supported by the then Prime Minister Manning, there was an expose on him in terms of his relationship with Rudy Giuliani. I don't know if you recall that. And we were quite clear in the Police Service Commission, headed by now deceased Christopher Thomas, Ambassador Christopher Thomas, that the Prime Minister is not a member of the Police Service Commission, and we must be allowed, I repeat, to do our job unfettered by the state. I am clear of that. When the independence of institutions like the police service, all right, when the possibility exists that there's a compromise and a blurring of the line and they're no longer independent, but just the thought that it could be political interference, in the functioning of a sacred institution, who should be clear of political interference, all right, or influence. I am saying there's a red flag here. And I am saying that has to be thoroughly investigated. Whether or not he should have brought it to the House, let the political science determine. But the fact is, there's a reality, there's a whistleblower, he's making some damning allegations, and that must be thoroughly investigated.
Now, we've also seen in the past, Pastor Dutton, where the office, and I want to use the term, the office of the Prime Minister has, one could say, interfered within the Tobago House of Assembly's affairs. I want to get your thoughts on that, based on what you just said a little while ago. And I'm not just speaking here to Dr. Keith Rowley being the Prime Minister this time, but the office, the Prime Minister, whomever he or she is, will be. Your thoughts on that?
Well, listen, you have hit the nail on the head. This is really not the first time that these allegations have been made. I mean, from the days of Robinson come down, all right? Days of Wilbert Winchester and the rest. You had that, days of Murray, all right? And I am saying that Trinidad must do a thorough historical analysis of the mistakes we would have made. I see Trinidad as a brother, the elder brother, and Tobago as the younger brother. All right, you have a brother and you have a next brother, or you have a big sister and a small sister. All right? We well know that Tobago depends, you have to get, by law now, and I repeat that, by law, all right, if you don't give Tobago what is constitutionally due and appropriate, then you are guilty of breaking the law. And there are many ways it could be used to frustrate whichever leadership, whichever party is in Tobago. And I am saying that the executive that resides in Trinidad, essentially, all right, must be very careful about that. Because in the first place, I repeat about the youth of Farley Augustine, and I see some fellow Seventh-day Adventists who support the ruling party going after him. They go after me also. They have been peppering me, but I am stronger than that. I have enormous faith in God, and I want to maintain my sense of integrity. Not because I live in Trinidad, I must be automatically and spontaneously judgmental on Farley Augustine and his team. I believe they deserve a right to function. I believe they deserve the right, to get support from Trinidad consistently. I believe that if they raise an issue, this is the second time. You had the whole expose the first time when Farley spoke and admitted to the propaganda, all right? You had an issue of contracts and being awarded, and he's saying that he was told to give a certain contractor a particular sum of money, and he revealed that a lot of money that was received, in some instances, there was poor quality work that the present assembly and its officers have investigated. That is very worrying. And now you have, on the heels of that revelation, all right, and a lot of it has not been denied. They have the auditor's report, all right, that has some damning information in it too. And now you have the whistleblower. I am saying there's an ugly trend here that has to be examined, and that people should not just talk about whether it was the appropriate place or not. They must deal with the substance of the revelation. Is it a hoax? Is the whistleblower telling lies? What about the security of the whistleblower? Not or of whistleblowers in the first place, because this is going to be a signature case, how this whistleblower is treated. It will either encourage or discourage potential whistleblowers. And I am saying, I am concerned, and I don't want to be part of any Trinidad posse advantaging, all right, the leadership of the Tobago House of Assembly, all right? And I am saying he has a right to be heard, and if we have to settle this thing, there must be a thorough inquiry. The police service must do its best, all right? And if it is not independent enough, we must have another group of people appointed by the state to investigate this, to find out what is the whistleblower. Another thing I want to tell you, I was on the specially appointed commission in 1993 that investigated the allegation of a drug cartel in the police service. I don't even remember that, when Rodwell Murray, the ACP, made damning allegations about senior people in the police service involved in a drug cartel, from distribution, all right, to importation and all of that, and protecting certain godfathers of the drug trade. And I am saying, I will die saying this. We need to investigate the role of the godfathers of the drug trade, importing cocaine. We just had $234 million worth of cocaine found. No poor boy behind the bridge in Laventille or in Mayaro or in Arima, that is a very hot spot right now, imported that. And I'm saying who was arrested was a mid-level guy. We need to get to the top, all right? And we've had relatives of individuals in high office, all right, being found with significant levels of cocaine in Port of Spain West. And that too has to be investigated. So I welcome the white collar unit, and I hope they don't only focus on Farley, but they focus across the board.
Pastor Clyde Dutton, before we close this morning, I want to get your perspective. You've been around long enough in terms of your experience observing the politics. We have seen the times of Orville London taking up as Chief Secretary in 2001, a PNM administration in Tobago, UNC then, Basdio Pandey as Prime Minister. We saw once again coming within the period of Orville London's term, the People's Partnership, Kamala Prasad Bisesa. We've always said over time when there's different administrations between Tobago and Trinidad, we see some natural challenges happening. What would you say is the distinct difference this time around, which is now a Farley Augustine-led administration in Tobago, while there's a PNM administration in central government? Once again, a difference. What would you say is the distinct difference this time around?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I mentioned the days of Murray and the issue Murray and Robinson, the days of Pamela Nicholson. I want to mention that. The difference this time around is that you have a political directorate, all right, who is accused of deliberately interfering with the operations of the chief secretary and his team and exerting political influence and directing the police service. That is a very worrying trend. I'm saying that to Trinidad and Tobago, no matter how, if you're a sycophant of the ruling party or any other party, that is a worrying trend. That should disturb every right-thinking citizen who appreciates what is required, the integrity and the decency that is required, all right, in terms of preserving the principles of democracy and the law of natural justice. That is vitally important. And I pray for Farley, because I could tell you, whoever was there at that age and had that level of courage that he's displaying, and when he makes a mistake, we pull him up. I am not saying when he makes a mistake, you don't pull him up. He was pulled over the coals for the audio tape, all right? And I'm saying we have several, parliamentarians in the last 40 years who have made, enormous errors, all right? And some of them still around, okay? So I want to say why you have to demonize and criminalize this young man. And I know, I read some of what was said about me recently here, because I'm from Trinidad, so I should take a side, you understand? Well, I am saying, let us protect the independence of our institutions. If Farley has to go, let him go, all right? If you have to charge him, charge him. But I am saying it's a worrying scenario. I repeat that, and you're all lovers of democracy. It is a worrying scenario that we could have a potential interference between the executive and an independent institution such as the police service, and one wonders what else goes on. So I'm seeing a difference. I'm saying that is the major difference here. It's a damning allegation.
Thank you, Pastor Clive Dotton. Always a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning.
God bless. God bless.
God bless indeed. And so there we have it, Julian. Some say that we've been missing the meat of the matter, that the focus has been shifted and our eyes are on the secondary matters and not on where it should be.
Well, I suspect that will be a matter of perspective, because for some the focus is on the audio, which they are directed at, and the police doing their relevant investigations. For some, they've seen the audio, they've heard it, but beyond the police investigation with the audio, there are serious questions regarding an abuse of power. And then further to that, the most recent revelations by the Chief Secretary in the House about involvements, including a number of high-ranking officials mentioned, who have all responded thus far to deny any such claim. So it's really left to be seen what would be next in the circumstances of this entire matter involving the Chief Secretary, and certainly going further now to that relationship between the Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister. More importantly, how Tobago may or may not be affected in the circumstances. So we wait to see. We continue to follow for the relevant updates as we go forward here on the Tobago Updates morning show.
All right. Well, Julian, we're being made to understand this morning that unfortunately there will be no GMT to be able to continue the discussion this morning. Unfortunately, I want to believe that folks are probably a little bit tired out from yesterday. It was a long day, and Tobago Updates did bring you coverage of what was happening on the ground in the heart of Charlottesville.
All right. Good morning, Candice Jackson. All right, folks, before we prepare to head on over to Tobago Notes, we want to say thank you very much once again for choosing the Tobago Updates morning show. We are heading out at this point, but we want to remind you tomorrow we continue to the Tobago Updates morning show with our Youth Wednesday. So we invite you to continue to tune in as we show your continued love and support. And thank you once again for choosing the Tobago Updates morning show. We're saying bye for now. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
The input of plastic bottles into this machine is one part of the upcycling process used by Flying Tree Environmental Management, as well as the Roxborough Police Youth Club's Upcycling and Learning Resource Center, to make items such as this plastic lumber picnic bench. The demonstration and installation of the bench at the Mount Irvin Beach facility were spearheaded by the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited in commemoration of World Environment Day.
This is actually a testament, a physical testament of our commitment to environmental matters. A lot of visitors that we have are very conscious of their environmental footprint. And this is actually an example of us showing that we are committed to removing plastics from the environment and actually using a solid example of what could be done with plastics.
With reusing or recycling or even upcycling the plastics, that's one way of eliminating the amount of plastic that goes to the landfill, and therefore we can then use those plastics as seen today to upcycle into another item that could be used.
This plastic picnic bench is the second upcycled item to be installed at this Blue Flag Pilot Beach facility. The other is a plastic bench which was installed earlier this year.
Recycling, upcycling, especially as it relates to plastics, is very important. And for World Environment Day, the theme was solutions to plastic pollution. And I'm a firm believer that every problem, there will always be a solution. And of course, on the island of Tobago, we have to use our area as an advantage. This is a good opportunity for us in Tobago to be more effective, be more efficient, and to be a part of these project initiatives to reduce the inflow of plastics to the landfill.
World Environment Day is a one-day observance each year, but we're encouraging you, the public, to make it an everyday activity. Do what you can, as small as it may be, to recycle and upcycle those plastic materials you use on a daily basis.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.